undefeated teams lost yesterday,
Yeah, a
and
lot.
Texas A&M was not one of them. So
Yeah.
that's that's sad. But anyways, how was your day yesterday, Justin? I know Ohio State won. Other than that, how was it?
Man, it was really weird because I mean, I don't know if we have anybody that listens to us outside the state of Arkansas, but um, I have YouTube TV, so it's all local channels is what I get all my stuff on. And I mean, I
Mhm.
go to CBS and I have it on my TV, but it's still local. You have to, submit your location and all that. Well, we had storms rolling through about the same time that the big games were going on, or big games to me, and then the Georgia Ole Miss game, and I kind of got screwed out of watching a lot of stuff. Um, just for that time period. And you could tell it was funny because I had it on my phone. You could tell. So one was on ABC and one was on the Ole Miss Georgia game was on ABC and the Ohio State Wisconsin game was on CBS. Well, they both went off at the same time to show the weather moving through and all that. And then they kind of went back to the game, and then when they came back to the weather the second time, somebody in ABC in Arkansas is either a real big Ole Miss fan or a real big Georgia fan because when they came back on with the weather, they split the screen. They still had the game on, but on CBS they just kept the game off, which is fine. I mean, it's part of it. We're in the South, so there's probably not too many people that live in Arkansas that's big Ohio State fans. But I just thought it was funny. I was like, yeah, some executive made a call and said, "Do not turn that game off. I don't care if there's an EF5 tornado going through Little Rock. I need that game on."
Yeah. Luckily, most of the stuff. It's weird because if you're watching it on like an antenna, like locally, then
Yeah,
uh, it will go off for local problems. But if you're watching it on like an app, like I was watching everything on ESPN Unlimited or whatever the hell they call it now,
yeah,
and like I didn't even know there was anything going on weather-wise. Like I knew that the storms were rolling through yesterday, but I had no idea that anything bad was actually
yeah. And I
happening.
thought the
And
same thing. I tried to go to the CBS app like just the CBS app, and as soon as I
mm,
clicked on it, asked me for my location. Tried to not give it to him. It wouldn't let me watch it. Gave him my location. Started talking about thunderstorms down in Arkadelphia. I was like, I don't care. I want to watch Ohio State play.
well, luckily
And I
for
can
you,
get
Ohio
that.
State beat the brakes off of them.
And I'll get that game out of the way real quick because it's really not relevant besides just me and you. Ohio State has a run game issue, and I don't like it, and it worries me. Julian Sand is ridiculous. He was
Mhm.
85% passing with 400 yards and 4 touchdowns. I mean, our receivers are, I mean, I would say our receivers are probably one of the best in America, not just in college football. I think you could take our receiver core and put them in the NFL, and they might be the best in the NFL. Maybe not against the Bengals, but everybody else is probably the best. We have a run game issue, but our defense is probably the most elite defense that we've seen since. And I mean, they rivaled 2021 Georgia. I mean,
Yeah,
honestly.
I mean, so far they do look pretty dominant. I mean,
And I think
it's definitely
that's the thing.
undeniable.
I think that's the thing with college football is like we don't have a dominant team. We have dominant sides of the ball on certain teams, but we don't have dominant teams.
Now, I don't even know if we have dominant teams. I feel like everyone's getting their turn.
That's
I
what I mean.
mean,
I think there's dominant sides of the ball on specific teams. Like Ohio State's defense is dominant. Their offense is good, but their defense is dominant. Could I see somebody beating them? Yeah, if you run some gadget plays and are able to score more than 14 points on them, yeah, you can probably beat Ohio State because you shut down the run. All you got to do is rush three, drop eight, and you're good. But I don't know. There's other teams out there too, like Texas A&M. Their offense is pretty good. Um, um, USC's their offense is pretty good, but obviously it showed weakness on the defensive side, and it caused them to lose a game. That's where I think we are in college football now. Like we don't have an elite team like we used to. We have elite sides of the ball. How good is your other side of the ball, and that's who's probably going to win the national championship.
let's kind of get into the. Well, I guess let's just start with this with Friday. I mean,
Yeah, I mean,
Friday in itself had two weird games.
Yeah.
Louisville goes on the road and beats Miami. Carson Beck threw 4 picks.
Yeah, it's
Louisville was
last year's
able to
Carson
kind of
Beck.
run the ball over them. I mean, it was like
Yeah.
not what I
It,
expected to see from Miami.
no, and them losing the way that they did in the fashion that they did, that's not how I expected them to lose because I think Miami has dominant line of scrimmage. They dominate the line of scrimmage usually. But when you throw 4 interceptions, I don't care how dominant your defense is, they're going to be on the field a little bit longer. Now, they still shouldn't have done this. If you really truthfully have a dominant defense, they should be able to dig deep in themselves and be like, hey, man, we're going to have to be on the field for 45 to 50 plays. We got to go. A deep defense can do things like that. Is it tougher? Yeah. But I'm not going to use that as an excuse because I haven't used it as an excuse all year. I feel like, man, you woke up from a dream, and this is what we thought Carson Beck was going to be all year long. Maybe not to this like severity, but we kind of thought this is what Carson Beck was going to be. I called you about it on Friday. I was like, "There's the Carson Beck we know," because this is what he was last year. It seems like in big games when they get down and he feels like he has to take control of the game, I guess he pisses down his leg. And then even in the post game press conference, they were asking about it, and he pretty much said if the right route was run, it would have been fine. No, dude, it was a bad throw.
Well, and I'm just trying to look for stats here to maybe give an example. I mean, to maybe see why Carson Beck played so bad. Sorry.
No, you're good.
Louisville had 0 sacks. Louisville fumbled the ball and gave the ball to Miami twice.
Yeah.
Or no, once. I mean, it was just like there may have been a little bit more pressure on Carson Beck than normal, but I did not think that it was like this crazy like duress. I didn't feel like he was running for his life the whole game.
No. I
mean,
think they just
couldn't run the ball either.
Yeah, I think they just got down. Mario Cristobal is the South's James Franklin. Remember 2 years ago when because they were in field goal range. That's the whole thing about it. Like, it wasn't like they were on the opposite 40 trying to push the ball down the field to kick a field goal at a time. No, they were in field goal range. It was first down, and they still had 2 timeouts. Why are you throwing the ball? It's just like 2 years ago when they were winning the game by 3 points or something, and they were playing. I don't know who they were playing. It was a game like this. They were winning the game. All they had to do was run out the clock. They could have taken 3 knees and won the game. He ran the ball. The running back fumbled, took it to the house. They lost the game. Now, should the running back have fumbled? No. Should Carson Beck have thrown an interception? No. But at the same time, as a coach, take that variable out. Exactly.
Yeah, take it out of his hands.
That's why people don't just run around throwing the ball. Yeah, I mean,
Louisville ran for 119 yards. Miller Moss didn't have the greatest completion percentage, but he did complete a lot of passes. They had a receiver, Chris Bell, go for 136 yards and 2 touchdowns. It was just Miami kind of just got handled up front, and then it showed later in the game whenever Carson Beck also couldn't give you what he had been giving you all year, which is the craziest performances. But yeah, you're right. This is what whenever I was predicting Miami to lose all these games, which I only predicted them to lose 1 or 2 up to this point, this is what I expected, was a guy that just shoots you in the foot, and that's what we got.
And we're only midway through the season. This is exactly how last season went, but Cam Ward was a good quarterback. They had other problems. But I'm anxious to see, this is with everybody saying, oh, Miami should be number 1. They should be this, blah, blah, blah. This is exactly what happened last year. They were good at the beginning of the season. They were steamrolling everybody. And then once they got deep into the meat of their schedule, they started choking away games. When I say meat of their schedule, I mean opponents that they're not favored 24, 25 points over.
Mm-hmm. And these Friday games have been weird, man. But let's talk about the next one. Minnesota
Yep.
beats the brakes off of Nebraska. I'm trying to pull up the stats.
That's the thing about the Big Ten this year, man. They're all cannibalizing themselves. It just happens when two good teams play each other and they just start beating each other. That's just what happens.
I just think Nebraska is not that good.
No, they're not. I just like sounding like an SEC fan because that's what's always said. Oh, they're 5-2, 5-2. Just two good teams cannibalizing themselves. No, it's just
Well,
one's not
and
that good.
this game, I mean, we kind of talked about how. I mean, you said Dylan Raiola. I mean, he didn't even have that terrible of a game, I guess. But I mean, he didn't
But
have
when
that
you're
great either.
when you're referred to in that higher regard, you can't not have a touchdown.
Right.
You can't like I don't care how many like obviously yards he did really he he didn't throw too many incompletions, like whatever. He didn't have a touchdown, and if you watch the game, man, it just looks bad. He just does not look. I don't know. He looks like a bootleg Down syndrome version of Patrick Mahomes, and I think he tries to be Patrick Mahomes too much. Like instead of just playing his game, he's worried about arm angles and doing this and doing that, and it's just bad.
Well,
Because
and
you look at
And
Drake
Nebraska
Lindsay.
can't protect him at all. I mean, that's what I've noticed
No,
every time I've seen Nebraska. I mean, they had what was it, 5, 6, 7, 9 sacks. Minnesota had 9 sacks in that game, and it's
yeah,
like, I mean, yes, I do think Dylan Raiola is to blame a little bit. He does hold on to the ball. He does bring some of it on himself, but he also is running for his life at times.
yeah,
And they can't run the ball that well either. I mean, they had
no,
uh, how many total yards? Well, if you take out the sack yardage, they had like 70 yards rushing.
yeah. Their
But
running
with the
back had
sack yards,
63. Yeah, their running back
yeah.
had 63 yards rushing.
And on the flip side, Drake Lindsay kind of got rid of the ball, on
Yep,
schedule most times. He did
yep.
get sacked a few times, but nothing crazy. Um, and then their running backs had great, success running the ball against Nebraska. I mean, they just controlled the game. Nebraska didn't score in the second half. It was it's just another one of those weird Friday night games which
And
I
I
don't think
think
Minnesota's a bad team, and I don't think Nebraska's bad either. I just think
I think Nebraska's. I think Minnesota is kind of that 6, 7 spot in the the Big Ten. I think they are. I'm not going to say it's hard because I'm not going to say good team, but they are a decent team. I could see them being a top 25 team at the end of the season. They have a good defense. Their quarterback gets rid of the ball. They obviously run the ball at a decent clip. They have 2 losses, yes. They lost to Ohio State, which I don't know if there's a team in the country that's not going to lose to Ohio State this year. And they lost to Cal. The Cal loss is a bad loss. Now, are we gonna take into account when they travel across the country, or are we not going to take into account? I'm not saying it should be an excuse, but I think it should be a viewing point to say, let's see what they look like for the rest of the season, and not just write that loss off like they're just some crappy team.
well, and also traveling across the country with a freshman quarterback.
Exactly.
And Minnesota probably has an inexperienced team, not maybe across the board, but they probably do have inexperience at different spots. I don't know everything about the Minnesota roster, but I know for sure that their quarterback is a freshman.
Yeah.
Um, and I mean, yeah, well, and young teams lose. Teams that aren't great but are average lose
Yep.
games they shouldn't lose. But they looked pretty decent last night or on
Yeah.
Friday night.
I'm not going to say that they're just some world beater. Oh my gosh, they should be, ranked right now. I'm just saying, give them a little time. If they work some kinks out, they have a decent defense, and I like Drake Lindsay. He's from Arkansas, so if you ever see Minnesota on, I mean, you can at least turn it on. He's a pretty decent quarterback. I don't see how Fayetteville let him go. That doesn't really make a lot of sense to me. But I mean, I could see him making some noise in the Big Ten and being that team at the end of the season that Oregon has to play them in week like 11 or 12 or something, and it being like, oh crap, Oregon has to play a Minnesota team that's 8-2 or 7-3, and that's going to be a tough road game for them to play.
Yeah, I feel like you're right about that. They could sneak up and beat a team. Let's get into there was quite a few good games yesterday. Actually, I'm just kind of looking in my head what I picked, trying to see where I
We
was right,
picked
where I was wrong.
Vanderbilt over LSU.
I mean, I'm sitting here looking. I mean, I had a pretty good day picking wise. I should have gambled yesterday. I didn't do it.
I thought Kentucky was gonna. That was my one that I watched, and I was like, "Damn, that's crazy."
Well, mine was Auburn. I thought Auburn was going to win last night, and then they just fell apart in overtime.
Yeah.
But did you see where? Sorry, we'll get into the games after this. But did you see where in the first overtime they kicked that field goal? And I don't know how Eli Drinkwitz thought it was in, but he thought it was in, so he started walking off the walking to the middle of the field, like clapping and trying to
I didn't see
congratulate.
that.
Like, yeah, it was just part
Cringy
of the reason
moment.
why. Yeah, it's just
Yeah,
part of the reason why I
cringy
hate
moment.
him.
Yeah, no, that makes
Let's
sense.
just get into Ole Miss, Georgia. Ole Miss goes on the road, um, and this was a game. Ole Miss loses, by the way. Ole Miss loses on the road to Georgia. Um, Prime time, ABC. Uh, Georgia was going crazy, but this was a game where Ole Miss did not get a single. I don't think they forced a single punt. The only stop, I guess you could say, they got is at the end of the game whenever Georgia kneeled it out. And this was kind of my fear going forward with Ole Miss was that Ole Miss's defense was going to fail them at times.
Yep.
Because Ole Miss's defense is not elite. Ole Miss's offense is elite. Ole Miss's defense is they're. I'm not going to say they're bad, but I think they're just average, and they're going to have bad days. Like they're going to have days like they had against a below average offense in LSU, where they're going to look, kind of dominant. But then they're going to have bad days against like what I think is like a little bit above average offense in Georgia, and I mean they look terrible. So I just think that was an example of that. What did you kind of take away from this game?
Okay, so I'm trying to. How do I want to say? Because it's okay. So here's what I'll say. I completely agree with you. I was kind of wrong on the game. I thought if Ole Miss, which I mean, I wasn't wrong, but I wasn't entirely right either. I said I felt like if Ole Miss was up by 17, anywhere from 14 to 17, going into half, I feel like they're going to win the game. You can turn the game off. They weren't up by that. They were up by what were they up by? 1 point. I think they were up by yeah, and then they choked the game away. Um, I think Ole Miss's offense is very good. I wouldn't. I. It's hard because I don't think we have that many elite sides of the ball. So I guess you could say Ole Miss's offense is elite, but I don't. Here's the whole thing about Georgia that I think a lot of people miss out on. This Georgia team is not the Georgia team that you're used to. Their defense is not an elite defense or even a good defense. They're outside of the top 25 in total defense, or they're right at 25th. They're not that good at defense. Tennessee put up 500 yards on this defense. Yeah, they lost the game, but they still put up 500 yards. If you're a good defense, you don't give up 500 yards. I'm sorry, you just don't. Um, and And Ole Miss did put up yardage. They were 5 for 9 on third down. They had 21 first downs. They moved the ball, but when it counted, it looked like to me Trinidad Shameless got caught in headlights. That's what it looked like. At the end of the game, when things really came down to the wire and Georgia made their push to come back, Trinidad Shameless, he didn't look like the same person that we seen at the beginning of the game. Now, I didn't really get to watch the whole game, but I did watch, some of it. I flipped it back and forth, and that's what it seemed like to me. It seemed like when the game really got put on his shoulders, like, hey, we need you to drive down the field, he choked it out. Now, their offense played pretty good. They couldn't run the ball for shit. I mean, they could not run the ball. And it ain't like Georgia's got some elite rush defense. They've got a good rush defense, but they don't have an elite rush defense. And Georgia's offense is not that good. and they put up 500 yards, which is bad. And the thing is like, I'm not saying Georgia's offense just isn't good just because. No, you can go look up total offense, total defense. Georgia is like 37th in total offense, and they're 25th in total defense. We can't just give them excuses because it's Georgia. Like, I think Ole Miss is a better team than Georgia, personally. Yeah, I do. If they played on a neutral site tomorrow or played at Ole Miss tomorrow, I think Ole Miss probably wins this game. It was at Georgia, and Georgia just had their number. I just don't think, like I said, I'm low on Georgia this year. I just am. I don't think they're that good. I think what Kirby Smart was talking about all week about this has got to be a wild game. This has got to be crazy. He said it multiple times, multiple days during the week. I think that took a toll on this team. And Trinidad Shameless, it was only his second road start. The first one was against Kentucky, and he hasn't been in a big-time program before this. So, yeah, he was a little deer in headlights when it came down to him making plays at the end of the game. That's what I'll say.
I just think it was two good teams. I mean, I think going forward, both of them are going to keep winning. I do think this kind of hurt Ole Miss's chance to make the conference championship because
Yeah.
Georgia doesn't really play anyone else in the SEC. That's a lot of competition. So Georgia will have tiebreaker over them. I don't see Alabama losing another game. So there's really not another spot open for that. But I think Ole Miss can win out probably. They still got to go on the road to Oklahoma. That one will be kind of rough. But I think they'll win that game. And, I mean, of course, projecting something, you can't account for injuries or something like that. But
Yeah.
if they're healthy, I think they can go beat Oklahoma. And I'm trying to think if they have any other. I don't think
No, they
have any
played
other
games. They play nobodies. I mean,
so
I hate to say that because the end of the season for Ole Miss are two teams that me and you were extremely high on, but it's South Carolina and Florida and Citadel, and then Mississippi State. So if they can make it through Oklahoma, they won't lose another game.
Yeah, and they'll get a playoff spot. So I don't think it's anything. Yeah. I don't think I can take anything from this game and make like a big sweeping judgment on it. Georgia needed this game. I mean, that's one reason why I did not want to pick against Georgia on the Thursday show, but I mean I did. Was Georgia needed this win. Georgia needed a home win for one, and Georgia needed a big win just for resume. I mean, if they lose this game, who have they beat? I mean, I guess Tennessee, but I think Tennessee is overrated. I don't know where they're getting number 11 in the country. I think whenever the playoff rankings come out, Tennessee is not going to be that high because Tennessee hasn't beat anyone. I don't know. I don't see where they're getting this ranking from. And we can get into Tennessee. But yeah, Georgia doesn't have a signature win, in my opinion.
I agree, and I like Tennessee, but that was based on their top two corners coming back, which would make their defense a little bit better. I don't think they're coming back, so I'm not as high on Tennessee as I was. And no, I mean I agree. The thing with this game, especially, and I hate doing this because we still do have 5 weeks left or 6 weeks left. This is a game to where this game, that's the best opponent Georgia's going to play until they get to the playoffs. That's the best opponent that Ole Miss is going to play until they get to the playoffs. So it's like, I'm not saying let's look forward to the playoffs because we still have plenty of time until then. But this is a game to where there's things that you've seen as an Ole Miss fan or as a Georgia fan against the opponent and said, that kind of worries me when we play a good team again. Or, that kind of worries me when we play a good team again. So that's where I kind of come from. I think they're both teams that are going to make the playoffs. I don't see either one of them missing the playoffs. I'm just saying I don't see either one of them making it to the national championship game.
And then let's kind of get into Alabama, Tennessee, I guess. Wait a sec. I'm going to mute my mic and.
No, go ahead. I can kind of Alabama and Tennessee. It was kind of what me and Mason expected it to be. It was at Alabama, which does help, but Alabama just controlled the game. Ty Simpson looked good. He had 10 incompletions and 2 touchdowns. Joey Aguilar looked fine too. Um, I just think that the way that Josh Heupel's offense works, I think you have to have an elite defense matched up with that offense. Because if you, how do I want to say this? Like, if you, like, they're not scoring like they used to. So, and their defense is giving up points. I think Alabama does have a good offense. So it's going to be very hard. I don't think Alabama is going to get stopped unless you play a really good defense. And I don't think Tennessee has a really good defense. I thought they were going to coming into the season. I thought they could coming into the season. Their top 2 corners are out. They have some other pieces that are out. And when I say out, I don't just mean for this game. Like, I don't think they're coming back this season. So that kind of takes away from what their defense could be. It's still a good win for Alabama, I think. I mean, I don't know what Tennessee's going to be at the end of the season. I don't know what they can be. I know they have a few tough games, but they don't have really just a ridiculous amount of tough games.
No, they have a very easy schedule
Yeah.
within the SEC.
Yeah, so I think Alabama kind of just – I think they just did what they were supposed to do. There is separation in the country, and the number 6 team should beat the number 11 team by 17 points. But
Well, and I don't think Alabama is the number 6 team in the country. I think Alabama, you could argue 1 or 2. I mean, just off the eye test. I know they lost that game to Florida State. I can't explain that one now. I really can't. I don't know how they lost that game. I mean,
I can't either.
Watching the Alabama that we saw last night versus the one we saw week 1, obviously, like, you're gonna have a different team as you go on through the season, and we are past the halfway point here. But, like, I cannot explain how they lost because all the things that Alabama does now is why they lost in that game.
Yeah, I would put Alabama at 4th probably. I think Texas A&M is probably better than they are, but that's just because if you lose a game, it can't be 1 or 2. Personally, in my opinion.
See, I'm not even talking about if I was an AP voter. I'm talking about who I think's the 1 or 2 best team in the country. I would put Alabama at 1 or 2.
Yeah. I would put them at probably 4. I think Texas A&M's better than they are.
But, I mean, the reason why I say that is because, I mean, they didn't have this great rushing performance yesterday. They didn't even really play that great of offense in the second half. I mean, they scored 2 touchdowns, but they were up 23-7. Their defense forced a huge turnover at the end of the half. They got after Joey Aguilar. But the more important thing is Alabama's offensive line they don't really have a lot of negative plays anymore. Yep. They don't let up. I mean, Ty Simpson didn't get touched last night. I mean, and they played good enough defense to where Tennessee, it looked like they were desperate to get any points any way they could throughout that game. And it was so obvious that Alabama was just bigger and more physical and fast. I mean, it looked like this is how Alabama kind of used to beat teams. Like, you would have a good LSU, and then they would go to Tuscaloosa, or Alabama would go to LSU, and this is exactly what would happen. Like, yeah, the score would be like, well, a few things wouldn't have happened. Maybe we would have been closer. Maybe we would have had a chance. But really, it's like, no, you kind of got, thoroughly handled for 4 quarters. But, yeah, I think going forward, projecting Alabama, it's like I was telling Aaron last night because we were talking about Georgia Ole Miss, and I was like, well, I said right after the game ended that it's going to be a Georgia-Alabama SEC championship, and then I think Alabama will win that game again. I don't see Alabama losing that game on a neutral site. And then, but yeah, I think right now there's 5 real good teams in the SEC. Oh, let me think. You got Alabama, Georgia, to me, Texas A&M, Vanderbilt, and Ole Miss. I feel like I'm missing one, but
I think that's it. And Vanderbilt's like right on the crest. I think they're good. I don't think LSU's not good. They're
I
not.
mean, Missouri, man, that's the one that I was missing in my head. Missouri has
Okay,
looked
okay.
decent so
Here,
far.
I'm glad that you brought them up. I'm not going to talk about them specifically. I'm going to talk about this, and it happens all the time. We have to stop just because, like, we have to stop giving these teams passes when they play a bad team and they struggle. Like Texas's win over Kentucky is awful. That's
Yeah,
not
no, that's a
good.
bad law, or that's a bad win.
And I know Auburn is better than Kentucky, but they're still a losing program right now. They're 3-4.
Yeah, but you went okay. Missouri went on the road to Auburn, and Auburn is a talented team. We talked about all offseason how Auburn has recruited
Yes,
well.
yeah,
Like they're getting more senior laden. Auburn played a good game in that game. I don't think Missouri is one of the upper echelon SEC teams this year, but Missouri plays an easy schedule for one. But also going on the road to Auburn's never like a crazy, or going on the road to Auburn whenever they are at least average is not super easy. And it was at night.
yeah, yeah,
Auburn
yeah.
played a good game. I mean, really, Jackson Arnold played a good game. They just fell apart in overtime, or Missouri would have lost. But I don't think that's necessarily a bad one. I don't think any wins. Texas's win. I think Texas is should not be anywhere close to ranked. I don't know why they are.
Texas is
Probably
winning
because
bad.
it's Texas.
Yeah, Texas's win is bad, and I'm sorry, Mason, but Texas A&M's win was bad.
Well, if you look, but also if you look at Texas A&M's win, Arkansas has done that to everyone
Yes,
besides Notre
yeah,
Dame, but
yeah,
the
yeah,
wheels fell off at that point. I just
yeah.
think that's who Arkansas is too. Like I try not. Okay, this is why. I mean, this is what I try to do. I try not to think of things in a. I try not to do this with college football in general. I try not to think of anything in a sweeping conclusion. Like I'm trying not to say that who lost yesterday. Okay, Arizona State beat Texas Tech. I'm trying not to be like, oh well, Texas Tech, that's a terrible loss. You suck.
Yeah.
Or LSU. I mean, I do think LSU sucks. I think there are a couple of really overrated teams in the country right now, and
And yeah, and
I think LSU is one of the main ones. Texas is one of the main ones.
yeah,
Uh,
Tennessee.
I do think Tennessee. I don't think Tennessee's wildly overrated. I do think Tennessee is a top 20 team. I don't think they're top 15. I don't think they're top 11 for sure. That's crazy to
No.
me. Um, and I think USC is kind of overrated because USC is doing this all year. So I just think
Yeah.
they're an average team, kind of similar to they were last year. I don't think Michigan's that good. I don't think that Michigan win, looking at it now, is like that great of a win. But Michigan did play a good game yesterday. I don't know. I don't think anyone in the country. I was saying this yesterday. I don't think anyone in the country actually like is that great. I don't think that there is a
No.
elite. I don't think there's I think Ohio State this year loses to 2021 Ohio State. I just think that's just no one is as good as they were. I mean, obviously, like
I think that there's, like I said at the beginning of the show, I think there's elite sides of the ball,
I don't even
and
know
I
if there's
don't,
elite sides of the
and
ball
and I don't
because
think there's that many. I think Ohio State's defense is the most elite thing in college football right now. And I'm not. I'll take like I'm not just saying that because I'm an Ohio State fan. You just go look at the numbers. It's proven. Like they've given up less yard or less points per game than 2021 Georgia. And I pulled up 2021 Georgia schedule through 6 games. They played nobody's two. So I don't want to hear like, oh, well, they were playing tougher teams. No, they weren't. They were playing
no,
bad teams.
2021 Georgia had an easy schedule.
So that's the only elite thing in college football right now. I mean, you can throw in USC's offense and Ole Miss's offense, but are they elite or are they just good? I think they're just good.
But I don't even know if Ohio State's defense is elite. Like really, like I don't know. And I'm not saying oh well they haven't played anybody. That's why it's just we haven't gotten to a point where they have been like tested at all. And yeah, you can attribute that to being an elite defense, but like they have not. I want to see them play. It's really tough because Penn State flew off the map,
Yeah, I wanted Penn
and
State to be good.
Michigan hasn't been great. So, okay, Ohio State is going to go undefeated in the regular season, unless
Hopefully. I'm not. Shut up,
if
Mason.
they do the unthinkable
Shut up,
and lose
Mason.
to Michigan, that would be terrible. But I really don't know I don't know what we'll know about Ohio State's defense until they play in the playoff, really. Or maybe, well, if they get to play Indiana, Indiana could give them trouble because Fernando Mendoza so far has looked really good, and
Yeah,
their
I
run
think
game's looked
Indiana
really
and
good.
Oregon have the best two offenses
Yeah,
in
but
the Big Ten.
I just think, I mean, and they did look good against a Minnesota team that wound up being pretty good, and Illinois' offense is okay. So I mean, they've had good performances against decent offenses, but
Here's
it's hard to
here's
tell because you can't predict. You couldn't have predicted that Texas was going to be like as
no,
inefficient on offense as they are.
and here's my whole thing. And I was talking to my brother about it yesterday. If you close your eyes and you say Georgia, if you close your eyes and say Georgia hasn't put, I'm trying to find a team that hasn't really, like, I guess Alabama's probably the close. Well, no, they played Vanderbilt. What I'm getting at is like if Georgia was undefeated and their defense was doing this, it would be like, oh my God, this is the best thing we've ever seen. Because what happens, and this is why I hate preseason rankings. I can't stand them because you have a lot of teams, just like you were saying earlier. This team, this team, this team are all overrated. All of them were SEC teams. It's because they give these rankings to teams, and then you look at the schedule or you look at the game, and it's like, oh, well, Tennessee's ranked 11th. Well, they're playing Alabama. They're just self-cannibalizing each other. It's like, no, Tennessee's just not that good. Or LSU's ranked 10th, and they're playing Vanderbilt, and they lost, but it was a good loss, and they're just self-cannibalizing each other. It's like, no, it's LSU's not that good. They're ranked at a position that they're not supposed to be. Because if you go and look at LSU's schedule, who the fuck have they played? They haven't played anybody. They've played two teams and they lost both games. So they're ranked in the top 10, being 5-2 when they haven't beat a single team, and their offense looks like trash, and their defense is not elite like everybody said they were going to be at the beginning of the season.
No, their defense, and they were missing some linebackers yesterday. And I will say this about yesterday's game for LSU. LSU, they did look better to me than they had looked previously. Like I thought if you matched up this LSU team against the one that lost at Ole Miss or the one that beat Clemson, I thought they looked vastly improved. But like Vanderbilt might just be for real on that. I mean, Vanderbilt even looked good against Bama.
Yeah,
The thing
I
about
mean,
LSU is LSU got ranked number 4 in the country because they beat Clemson. Well, Clemson wound up being terrible.
yeah,
And then the thing about the AP is a bunch of guys like me and you. It is like me and you
yeah.
that just have, media. They're in the media somehow. And they hate being wrong. That's what it feels like. It feels like, oh God, I hate being wrong. Like I hate being up on this team.
And the
And
yeah,
well,
and the
you
problem
know,
is too is a lot of them don't even watch the games. That's became a big thing. People are starting to like go through the AP polls, and they'll have like there. I guarantee you, there's going to be more than one person that still has LSU ranked over Vanderbilt this week.
oh,
Guaranteed.
for sure, for
And that
sure.
skews the voting. That's why that's where I wish we could take, because a lot of people don't understand the BCS. The way they came up with rankings was computer model. I wish we still had the playoff like we do now, but you take out the human element and put in the computer model.
I'm pretty sure you can look up BCS rankings like
Like
today.
for right now,
I'm pretty sure you can.
I mean that's what I wish we went off of instead of.
Let's see. Let's see if I can find it because I know that there's a guy on Twitter that posts them, and I'll just if we can find it, we'll go over this, and then we'll kind of taper off the rest of the show. Oh wow. Okay. Well, That's not.
Yeah, I
I
don't.
see it all the time.
Yeah, that's how I wish it was because like half the people that are ranking these teams, they don't even pay attention. And it's like, and I wish that we didn't even get rankings until the playoff model came out because you have these teams where it's I'm trying to see who LSU's played because it'd just be easier. Let's go to the beginning of the season. Yeah, so that like they have no reason to be ranked 10th right now. They just are because they were ranked so high, and it's like, okay, well they lost to Ole Miss, which Ole Miss is better than they are, but Ole Miss just lost two. So it's like I would like to get into the season a little bit deeper before we just say, this team and this team are good just because we think they are, but these two teams aren't good just because we think they are. Because that's what's going on. I mean, yeah, you can like they look at things, but they don't dive deep into it to really see if this team is better than this team.
No, they don't. And I can't find it I can't find it like off the just whiff of my, breath. But
Yeah.
I will say if I had to rank LSU right now, LSU would not be ranked. I don't. I mean,
No.
I would think. I mean, I think they're one of the best 50 teams.
Yeah.
I mean, I was looking at Arkansas' schedule yesterday, trying to find some conference wins, and to be honest with you, the couple of games that I'm telling you, I think Arkansas can win. I'm not saying I think they will, but the games I think they can win, I think they can beat Auburn next week.
Yep.
I think they can beat Mississippi State. I think Mississippi State's one of the tougher games we have left. On the road at LSU and on the road at Texas, I think Arkansas can win both of those games. I don't see. Now, Arkansas has this problem with playing to competition. So,
Yep.
like we let Memphis beat us. That's a game Arkansas should not have lost. Arkansas is a way better team than Memphis. The wheels just fell off. But if we just play like we played last night against LSU and against Texas, I think we win that game. I mean, I don't think there's a world where LSU and Texas can combine for 45. I don't think both of them combining and like playing, they both play a game. I don't think they combine for 45 unless they're playing an FCS team, which our defense is similar to an FCS defense. So, I mean, just looking at Arkansas' schedule, I was like looking at who I thought we could beat. I think we can beat LSU and Texas for sure. I mean, I feel better about that than I do Auburn, Mississippi State, or Missouri, which is crazy to say.
Yes. And that is season, and that's yes. And that's where I get the whole thing of like Tennessee, Texas, and LSU should not be ranked at all. They're not that good. So it's like even if they're ranked when Arkansas plays them, they're still like they're probably not going to be because they'll have more losses by then. But like they shouldn't be ranked at all. No, I think we really only have
more games coming up that are going to be tough.
Yeah, we really only have two more games that are probably worth getting into. Which is USC went on the road to Notre Dame. And I'm not making excuses, so I don't want Notre Dame was the better team. USC could not stop the run at all. They couldn't do anything for Notre Dame's run game. I mean, Notre Dame, that's the typical Lincoln Riley defense like we saw. Now, they lost by 10 points at Notre Dame, which, whatever. At that point, I don't care if it's a Big Ten, SEC, ACC, Big 12. Like, what is the margin between 13th and 25th? Like, I know they gained a loss, but what is that margin? What's that point margin that people agree upon? You know what I mean? Here's what I will say, too. It sucks because I don't want to say we got cheated out of a game, but towards the end of the fourth quarter when USC was going to have to make their big push to come back and win and maybe put it into overtime, it started raining, So I don't think USC would have won the game regardless. It just kind of it seemed like everything kind of played in Notre Dame's favor. And I don't know, maybe the Catholics were praying extra hard, but that's what it seemed like to me. Now, they led the whole game. I'm not going to say that they didn't. And, USC got cheated and USC I'm not saying that at all. what I'm getting at is that it seemed like kind of like what was that 2021, 2022 when Ohio State went to Michigan and Ohio State was a prolific passing offense and like at halftime it started snowing and you're like, oh, that's going to kind of put a damper on Ohio State, but help Michigan because Michigan likes to run the ball. It was the same thing. That's what it felt like to me. It started raining in the second half. Momentum kind of kept on Notre Dame's side, but kind of switched, and it was just all steamrolling from there. And USC's defense is not that good.
Back to LSU really, really quickly. This
No,
is
you're
their
good.
remaining schedule. And okay, I want everyone to remember at the beginning of the year, whenever we were doing our previews, when we were going through and
Loss.
we were talking about over unders, right? Weren't we? And the over under for LSU was 8.5.
Yep.
So I want to tell you LSU's current record, and then I want to tell you the rest of their schedule. I want you to tell me kind of what you think here. 5-2. Okay, they're 5-2. Not bad. Not bad. They have notable wins over Southeast Louisiana, a terrible Florida team, a terrible South Carolina team, and a terrible Clemson team, right?
Yeah.
They have notable losses against Ole Miss and Vanderbilt. So this is the rest of their schedule.
Yep.
Next week they get to host Texas A&M.
Loss.
Okay. The week after that they go to Alabama.
Loss.
Okay, so now we're sitting at 5-3, or no, 5-4. Okay.
Yeah.
Then they got to host Arkansas. Ooh,
I think
Arkansas is bad. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
Arkansas is bad. Arkansas can score the rock.
Yeah, I think they.
I think you got to sweat that one a little bit, but nonetheless, let's say they do win that game. Okay. So now we're at 4. Western Kentucky.
Yeah.
They'll beat Western Kentucky. Then they got to go on the road to Oklahoma.
Yeah,
I mean, is that 7-5? Is that 7-5? Even if they win that game, 8-4. Hey, guess what? Guess what? On an over/under, if you pick over and they win 8 games, guess who's wrong? You are.
Yeah.
Guess who's right? I am. I'm right.
We were both under, yeah. And then this is exactly what I say, and I wrap all this back around, and I was talking to my stepbrother about it. So here's my question, because this is why I hate ranking teams so early in the season, and you can agree with me at a certain point, and I think it's this week, there's like 10 SEC teams ranked. They shouldn't all be ranked. So you go through LSU's schedule. If they really are 7-5, a 7-5 football team is a bad team, right? I mean, that's conference by conference. It doesn't matter what conference you're in. A 7-5 football team is a bad team. So looking back on it, if we go back through the schedule, that means them playing Ole Miss was not that good of a win for Ole Miss. We can't put that as a staple win anymore. It shouldn't be. I know at the time, we thought LSU was good, but they weren't. And Ole Miss only beat them by, 5 points? I know every game's different, so I'm not using transitive property. I'm just saying we can't just keep giving these passes to teams because they're ranked high at the beginning and then they have losses, and it's like, oh, well, that was a good loss because they were ranked. Or that was a good loss because it was this or that, and they just did that. No. If they end up going 7-5, that's a bad win for Ole Miss.
I don't think a win against a 7-5 team is a bad win necessarily. I mean, again, like sweeping judgments. The sweeping judgment on that was that Ole Miss is elite. Now, I did think that was hasty. At the time, even I thought it was hasty. I didn't think Ole Miss was one of my top. I didn't think they were, I didn't think they were like the best team in the country. But I will say, for Ole Miss to ever beat LSU was a big deal for Ole Miss fans. Like Ole Miss, is everyone thinks, or okay, I'll say everyone. Being around LSU fans or interacting with LSU fans, LSU thinks their rivals are Satan, God at the same time, Alabama, and probably the Saints. Like they think that their rivalries are these big deals. They never talk about Ole Miss or Arkansas or Tulane or anything like that because they think they're above that for some reason. But Ole Miss does not like LSU, so every win for Ole Miss against LSU is a big deal.
And I shouldn't say not a big win. I just don't think it's as I don't think it's as big of a win as what we thought it was, or what the media thought it was. Me and you have been on the same page against for LSU the whole year. We have been. So we talked about that game, and we talked about it in a light of their two ranked teams. But we both said that Ole Miss was probably going to win that game.
And I will say, as far as big wins and like wins that kind of mean a lot to me going forward for Ole Miss, that Tulane win's impressive to me. I mean, they
Yeah,
smothered Tulane, and I mean, Tulane's defense has never been talked about as elite, I don't think. But to like hold Tulane to 10 points, that was kind of a bigger deal to me than them beating LSU, I guess, if you want to talk about things they did in those games. That one genuinely surprised me because I thought Ole Miss would win that game against Tulane, but I didn't think it was going to be 45-10. I thought it was going to be like 45-35 or 45-31 or something like that. And I think as far as like going on throughout the season, I think that was honestly the more impressive performance.
yeah. I mean, here's the thing, especially in college football, if you give up less than 10 points to a competent opponent, that's a big time thing to do. It is. I
I
mean,
agree.
now that's a big time thing to do. If you pitch a shutout, that's an elite thing to do. And I don't care who you're playing. If you pitch a shutout, if it's 70-0, 60-0, at a certain point your backups are going in. If your backups hold that team to 0 points too, that's elite defense in that game. So, you know, that's how I kind of go about things and like look at teams and like, okay, they're struggling with this, this, and this. They can't run the ball. They can't pass the ball. They can't stop the run. They can't, all these things. I don't just look. I really try to take rankings out of it because it's like we can rank whoever we want to. We could have ranked Minnesota when they played Ohio State, but they had one loss, but we didn't. So I don't look at rankings because I think there's probably I mean, we're going to see it this year or this week because there's like, what'd you say, 4 or 5 undefeated teams lost, and then like a bunch of teams that were in the top 25 lost to teams that weren't in the top 25 and had
Yeah,
close games.
I think we're kind of to that NFL model almost now where everything's a lot closer than it used to be. But one more game that I wanted to talk about before we
Yeah, for
cap
sure.
this whole thing off. Utah beat or no, wrong. I read that wrong. Utah lost to BYU.
Yeah,
LJ Martin had a great game. I think I picked BYU in that game. Yeah, I'm telling you, man, I should have gambled yesterday.
you did because I picked.
BYU I had a great day.
Yeah,
I mean,
you did because I picked
I
Utah.
was wrong. I was wrong about Ole Miss.
Yeah, and Texas Tech, or did you say Texas Tech was going to lose?
No, I said Texas Tech was going to win.
Yeah, but I think
I
you
was right
did.
about TCU.
Yeah.
I mean, I had a pretty good day, really. I mean, I know everyone on the TikTok likes to tell me that I have zero ball knowledge and that I'm an idiot and that I should sell my computer and my, everything. But I mean,
I need to
if you'd
go
have listened to me
spend my
yesterday,
whole.
you'd have won some money.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, they they only want to hit us while we're down, Mason. I had a week like that about 2 weeks ago, and I never got any credit on it. But I mean, yeah, BYU. That's the thing, though. BYU. I don't see how they won. If you hide the teams, hide the scores. Utah outgained them by almost 100 yards total offense. Outpassed them by double almost. Outrushed them. Uh, had more yards per play, had better first down percentage or third down percentage, about the same on fourth down percentage, ran more offensive plays, gave up one more sack, punted the ball less, had more penalties. It came down to turnovers. They lost a fumble and they lost an interception, and they didn't own the time of possession. So what it sounds like to me is I didn't get to watch the game. What it sounds like to me is Utah would make it all the way down to the red zone, and BYU would stop them.
I didn't really get to watch the game either. I was just kind of reacting to that. But I mean, yeah, that's what it looks like to me too. To be honest with
I
you.
mean,
But
I
another weird one that I just noticed as I'm scrolling through this. is oh, by the way, I think BYU could challenge Texas Tech. I like the way they run the ball, but obviously Texas Tech is beatable. But this is what I wanted to talk about was down here, way down here somewhere. Northwestern and Purdue played, right? Listen
Northwestern's
to
kind of
this.
good.
Listen to this. Malachi Singleton, Purdue's quarterback, uh, led the game in passing. Devin Mockobee, their running back, Purdue's running back, he was the game leading rusher. No, Northwestern wins 19-0. What happened there? I mean, I didn't watch the game
Yeah,
obviously, but
I don't know.
that's
And
just
another, and and Northwestern's actually what they're 4-2. We thought they were going to be awful. They're really not that bad. I don't know who they've played, but when you're beating conference opponents and everybody thought you were going to lose every game, you're not bad. And here's another team that's kind of making some noise, or maybe not making noise, but they're winning games. Is UCLA. UCLA won again yesterday. I
there's
mean,
something, man. I mean,
UCLA's
maybe they
3 and
just
1
needed
in
to change at the top.
yeah. I mean, it looks like it. UCLA's 3 and 1 in conference right now. Wisconsin's dead last. I feel bad. He's about to, what's his name's about to get fired, Luke Fickle, but it is
He can
what
come
it
be our
is.
DC.
Like,
That'd be dope.
okay, here's my question, Mason. If you would have closed your eyes and I would have take us back to the beginning of the season, and I would have told you Northwestern, let's see, Northwestern, Minnesota, UCLA, Nebraska, Maryland, and Michigan State all had better conference standings than Penn State by whatever week we're in, week 8.
They might have better than Nebraska too, actually.
No, they do. They do. Northwestern has better than Nebraska. Minnesota has better than Nebraska. UCLA has better than Nebraska. Illinois, obviously, we knew that. And then you have Nebraska, Wisconsin, or
Yeah, I'm looking
Washington,
at it now.
Maryland. Yeah, I would have never thought Penn State would be that low.
Well, the wheels have fallen off at Penn State.
And can we talk about something? Was it weird when James Franklin went on College Football Game Day? That was weird to me.
Did you see how mad Nick Saban was about Penn State firing him?
Yeah, I don't doubt it. I didn't see it. I didn't get to watch it. But.
And what he was saying made sense. Okay, so basically he went to this whole thing about how, yes, you were having a disappointing year, but he was like, the only reason why it was looked at as disappointing, well, he said this, but Penn State was not. Penn State's not very good, so it's disappointing in general. But is because of the expectations that James Franklin built at Penn State. And then James Franklin went on to this whole thing about how he'll just go win a national championship somewhere else. Buddy, I don't believe that at all. But I will say, I mean, as far as if you think about Penn State, okay, so they had Joe Paterno, they had Joe Paul, they had that whole thing happen with Sandusky and all that. I won't get into all that. But and then they
tickle.
They got the modern day death penalty. And who was it? Was it Rich Rod? No, it wasn't Rich Rod. It was it was Boston College's coach.
Oh shit! Don't get me on.
I cannot remember his name now. Anyways, it's the guy that Bill O'Brien. It's Bill O'Brien. Bill O'Brien was their head coach, and then he kind of
he was there for a little bit, wasn't
he? He kind of revived them a little bit, and then James Franklin leaves Vanderbilt and goes there, and he did build a consistent. I'm gonna say power, not power in the sense of did they won the Big Ten once, twice maybe?
Yeah, 2016.
And yeah, that's right because that was Trace McSorley.
Yeah.
By the way.
What I compare them to is you take out the 2019 season, they're very comparable to LSU.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
In recent memory, I'm not talking about history since 2000. I'm talking about since James Franklin got there, which had been about 10 years. You take out the 2019 LSU team, they're very comparable. They've always been in that third, fourth spot in the SEC or the Big Ten. Everybody thinks that they're going to be so good, and they always underperform. And then the years that they're not supposed to be that good, they always overperform. And that's just how it is. That's how I view it.
Yeah, and at the same time, LSU has ran through a bunch of coaches too. So I mean, maybe
Yeah.
Penn State did hold on to him too long. I don't know, but I do think that they jumped the gun on that a little
I do
bit.
too.
They should
Now,
have let him finish out the season.
would you be okay with James Franklin going to Arkansas or no?
Yeah, I mean, I'd be okay with it. I'm not gonna if we keep Bobby Petrino, I'm not gonna be like, oh, I'm not watching them. You know, there's some people like that. I've seen people all over like, well, if we hire this guy, I'm done with the Hogs. I'm not like that at all. It's kind of like the president. Okay, if the guy or the girl or whoever wins that I didn't vote for, I'm not gonna be like, oh well, screw them. I hope they fail. No, I don't hope that at all. I hope they succeed. So if it is James Franklin, which I do think he has built a reputation of being able to revive a program. I mean, he has.
Yeah.
I mean, he revived Vanderbilt, and he did revive Penn State. I would be okay with it, yeah. Now, I wouldn't expect a national championship, but I would be okay with it, yeah.
I think he would be good. I think he would be good for Arkansas. I think
My
he
only
could
thing
build.
is does he come back to the South though? I mean, because he spent 10 years in the North. I mean, he might enjoy poutine.
I think the biggest thing for him is. I mean, I really don't know. I think the big thing for coaches, especially, is it is about winning. But I think they're going to try to go somewhere where they know that they're going to get NIL support. And if Arkansas is not going to give NIL support, it's going to be really hard for them to get any coach, let alone a big-time player like James Franklin. I think it would just be better for Arkansas because as it sits right now, they're not going to have to pay James Franklin a stupid amount of money to get him to come there, like they probably would to get a coach of his stature. And they could pay him $6 million, and he's still going to be happy because Penn State's paying him $3 million on top of that. So he's a $9 million a year head coach. And then they can take that extra money and throw it into recruiting. I know that they say, oh, that we're about to get rid of that. The rules are going to change and blah, blah. People are still figuring out ways around it, and people aren't even getting in trouble. So you might as well do it.
Well, and I think it's a situation at the University of Arkansas where if the boosters have their guy, the boosters give money. It's just that simple.
Yeah.
And I've seen a lot of people say this. Oh, well, Arkansas is giving too much to basketball. Okay. That's one of the dumbest things I've ever heard because you want to know why they're giving so much to basketball? Because they have a guy the boosters believe in. It's not that there's just, okay, well, here's the allocated amount of money that you can give.
Yeah.
Okay, and here's another thing is let's say you're at Missouri and you're a big booster, but you don't actually have any like valid business, I guess you could say. Like you have a business, but it's not like you could get a Walmart deal and that's valid. Like that's a real deal. Like you could do a commercial or do like, and then they could give you money off that. It isn't like Ole Miss. Ole Miss just gets money from Realtree or whoever. They don't do anything. They wore Realtree camo uniforms one time. Like it's not like this.
Yeah.
So there's money to be spent in Arkansas. You just have to have the guy that the boosters want, and that's Sam Pittman was not that guy. So I don't know.
Yeah, here's my whole thing, Mason. To me, it's a lot like a subscription model or buying something. Yeah. Because we don't have the money to go donate $50 million to whatever. Are you going to keep paying for a subscription model if every time you turn it on, 10% of the time it might work and 80% of the time, 90% of the time it doesn't work? No, you're not going to keep putting money towards that. But then if there's a new subscription model that comes out that's ESPN based and gives you all the college football that you want, like a big time coach would you be more apt to buy that subscription model? Yeah, you would because you're doing it right now with ESPN Plus or whatever. So the whole thing is why would you give money to something that
you don't believe in?
Exactly. Because at the end of the day, I hate telling people this because there's so many people, and I don't know why, that acted like Sam Pittman was like their grandpa handing out butterscotch candies on Saturday. It didn't matter if you gave the Arkansas Razorbacks football team $50 million. Sam Pittman would not win a national championship. He wouldn't.
No,
He
I
wouldn't.
agree.
I don't care. You could take, and I firmly believe this. You could take one player out of the top 25 from every team and put them individually in Arkansas. I still don't think they win the national championship because it comes down
No,
to coaching.
It was a culture problem because we've seen over the
Yes.
last 2 weeks that Sam Pittman's players don't know how to win football games. They don't know how to close out games, and it's because I don't think he knew how to close out games. And I will say we have looked improved, but
Yeah.
I don't think it's something that you could flip over a bye week. I don't think it is.
No. I agree. And fumbling was a problem. They've lost so many games off fumbling, and at the end of the day, that's something that yes, they're D1 athletes. They shouldn't have to deal with fumbling the ball. I completely agree with that. But I can't remember when's the last time Ohio State player fumbled the ball on an offensive side of the ball. Maybe one time in the last 3 or 4 years. That's what big programs are. They coach. That Nick Saban talks about it all the time. So you can't listen to Nick Saban and say he's the greatest coach of all time, but then not listen to everything that he says. He says the little details are what matters. I guarantee you, if you talk to Nick Saban and ask him if he coached or worked on ball security every day or at least once a week, I guarantee you his answer is yes.
Well, and this is for Arkansas fans. If you watched John Gruden his box openings, he talked about Frank Broyles, right? Frank Broyles is a legendary coach from the University of Arkansas, and athletic director. And he said this. He said, "What you see on film is what you're coaching. If you're
Yep.
fumbling and losing 3 weeks in a row, what you see is that's what you're coaching. And people can say, well, that's not the coach's fault. What you see is what you're coaching. I mean, it's just that simple. Uh,
Yeah.
and
I
that
mean,
that's what we were coaching. We just weren't coaching to, or I guess you could say it's what you're not coaching in that sense. But I mean that's what it was.
yeah, I mean, I don't know. Yes, they're D1 athletes, and yes, they should know ball security, but like they're not in the NFL. And even NFL
Right.
teams coach ball security because it's just like that's part of the game. And like fumbles can, I mean, Arkansas fans know it. Fumbles can cause you to lose games. So why not? I mean, all you got to do is make the kids run through a chute twice a day in between their drills. It's not hard. Like it's not like you got to set alone 5 minutes for every practice. No. When they change position drills and go from one side of the field to the other, same thing. Just like if your team has problems with conditioning, you're going to make them run up and down the field in between their, periods. That's what we called them. Where I played football, we had certain periods. Every 5 minutes was a period. Um, but I mean, yes, it's not solely a coaching problem if they do it one time, but it's a coaching problem if they do it multiple times, times a year in multiple games.
And one last thing I want to say before we kind of sign off here is it is crazy to see how much electricity there is in the Razorback Stadium whenever they believe. It's insane. Like they talk about like that Notre Dame game, you could tell they knew. Like the fans did not care. Like they knew they
Yeah,
were going to lose. Yesterday, weather delay, all this stuff happens. Arkansas comes back in the first half and makes it a 1 point game going into half. And I'm seeing all the videos from people that went or whatever. That place was electric. Like, you just have to get the guy that everyone, can rally behind. And Arkansas could be a good program. That's another thing. Okay, one last little tangent. If you are an Arkansas fan and you love saying, "Oh, that's the Heartbreak Hogs," that's the Heartbreak Hogs. Hey, do you know how many teams every year don't lose a game? Basically, none of them. Nobody goes undefeated anymore. So you could say, "Oh, well, that's the Heartbreak Buckeyes. They lost to Michigan. Oh, well, that's
yeah.
the Heartbreak Crimson Tide. They lost to Florida State." Like I hate
Well,
acting like Arkansas is this cursed program because it's not.
well,
It's not.
what's funny is my brother came over here yesterday and we were watching some football and I always talk college football with everybody and he was talking to me about how he was like, I wonder how many one-score games Arkansas's lost over the last 5 years. And I was like, it's probably a pretty good amount, but I know there's a team. I know there's one team out there for sure. I'd put my whole house on it that has more. We looked it up over the last 5 years. Arkansas has 15, including part of this year. Arkansas has 15. Nebraska has 22 in the same time frame. So like there's other teams out there that are doing the same thing. So I don't know. I mean, it seems like as much as Hogs fans want Arkansas to be good, they also like being bad too because it's just
and what it is it's people that aren't actually fans, and they just like to go to the game and take a picture and post on Instagram or Facebook and say, Heartbreak Hogs at it again. Heartbreak Hogs at it again. That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my entire life. So I mean, like, that's in a way, you're basically saying, oh, well, we're just bound to be heartbroken. We're just bound to lose. Like, you're not a cursed football program, by the way. You have a shitty culture, is all it is. You fix the culture, you learn how to win games, and the Heartbreak Hogs don't exist anymore. I mean, that has always bothered me.
Yeah, and then a lot of people say it. It's very. It's tough though because I also see where they're coming from, but not in the football standpoint, in the baseball and basketball standpoint. If you're going to call them the Heartbreak Hogs for football, I don't know what you call them for basketball and baseball. Because if you want to talk about heartbreak, imagine making it all the
Heartbreak Hogs apparently.
Yeah, imagine making it all the way to the end and then losing. And
you know how many teams in basketball and baseball end their season on a win? Just guess how many?
One.
Everyone's heartbreak. I don't understand this conception of, oh well, Arkansas's just got it worse. No, we're the same. Everyone's the same. Like I don't.
Yeah.
Hey, do you know how many Kansas basketball wins or how many teams ended their season on a win? Like 2 or 3 of them. How many ever national championships they got? That's it. The rest of them all ended in heartbreak.
And if you want me to be honest, I'm gonna touch some people's hearts right here, and I'm really sorry, but I'm gonna be. I mean, I just can't let people that I care about suffer to this extreme. You know why they're called? You know why people call them the Heartbreak Hogs? And you know why people act like every loss that y'all have is just so horrible? Because y'all are not realistic in what's going on. And you think that you're better than what you are. Mason, who said Arkansas was going to probably only have 3 wins this season?
A lot of people on the internet and you.
Yeah, and me. I'm going to be honest. If I think Arkansas is going to be good, I think they're going to be good. It's the same way. Baseball, every single year, everybody's like, oh, no, we're number 1. Okay, I guarantee you don't win it in Omaha this year. Just like basketball. Oh, we're going to be so good. We're going to be good. We made it to the Elite Eight last year. We got to make it to the Final Four this year because we have so many people returning. You might get lucky if you make it to the Sweet 16. I don't even know anything about basketball. I'm kind of just talking out of my ass. But the Hogs fans think just because 1 or 2 things happen, you're automatically good. Arkansas is not a historically good program. And as soon as you get that out of your delusion...
Whoa.
No, they're
I'm going to have
not.
to cut you off on that.
Arkansas
not. Is a historically good program in almost everything. Everything.
No.
Yes,
okay, they're not. Okay, they're not historically elite.
No, but nobody is besides Ohio State, Alabama, Michigan, I guess, kind of, if you count before the railroad was intact.
And are we talking about? We're a college football show, so yeah, we're just talking about college football. Arkansas's football program is not historically good program. No, fuck no.
Yes, it is. We have 10 conference championships. We've won 40 bowl games. What do you consider good? No, we don't have national championships. We have 2. I'm counting 2, by the way. We have 1. We have 2. But either way, we're historically a good program. Historically, we're a good program. We're not a great one, no. But nobody is besides Ohio State and Alabama. That's the only 2. And Notre Dame, I guess. but I don't count them because they're not real. I mean,
I just don't like.
but if
No,
you're
I don't.
judging it based off of your fandom, no, they're not. They're not a good one.
But I don't even think. I just think people have too much expectations on the Hogs to think. No, they're the same. They're what are they? A little bit better than Vanderbilt?
We're way better than Vanderbilt. Way better historically than Vanderbilt. Yes, way better.
The last
Way
10 years.
better.
Last 10 years.
In the last 10 years, yeah, we're better than Vanderbilt. I mean, maybe not the last 2 years. How many bowl games has Vanderbilt been to between 2014 and now?
Hang on, let me
One.
look it up.
They've been to like 1 or 2, maybe.
And I guess that's where there's the disconnect because it's like a lot of fans, Arkansas fans, think just because you make it to Arkansas is an off the time program. Just because you make it to a bowl game this year, you're guaranteed to make it to one next year. You're not that good.
Nobody's guaranteed to do anything. But I don't think that makes you good or bad necessarily.
I just think that there's unrealistic expectations on the Hogs program as general, and just thinking that, well, we're gonna be better than last year because we just are. It's like, well, you're not that good of a program anyways.
Currently, as we speak, no, we're not.
Yeah, I mean, since Bobby Petrino was there the first time, they haven't been a good program. I mean, they had
we're 14 points away from being 7-1, and that was the issue coming into this year. And you said, year 2, Taylen Green, you're supposed to have improved at the receiving room. You're supposed to have improved in the offensive line, and they did all those things. Then your defense fell off. I mean, in firing your coach and you don't have a good defense, this is what's going to happen. But you're still 14 points away from being 7-1.
Yes, yeah. I think, and you're what 3-4 fumbles away from being 7-1.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So to say that, to say like you don't know why Arkansas fans have an expectation, it's not necessarily an expectation. I wouldn't say that, but to have this this hope. I mean, they give you hope every week. Besides one, we've had 1 week where we didn't have any hope, and we fired our coach. After that, I mean, even with the last 2 weeks, we've had hope. I mean, that's what it is. It's not like this. I don't think any Arkansas fan in the country thinks we're Alabama or Ohio State. I just think they have hope that we can win these games because they show it every week that we can win them. We just don't.
Yeah, I mean, I can agree with you. And it sucks, but I think what I'm getting at is like I don't know. It does. I mean, honestly, man, like I hate the saying too because people say it all the time, like the Heartbreak Hogs. It sucks. I don't want people to say that, but like it seems like every time the Hogs get up to being good, a top 25, top 15, top 10 program, they always piss it away, and it happens every year. Every year that they've been ranked, they always piss it away. What was the year that they were ranked all the way up into number 3?
That was 2011, and that was the last game of the year.
Was it the last game of the year?
In 2011, we were ranked number 3 in the country. We played LSU. We got beat on the road to the number 1 team in the country.
That's right.
And then we won our bowl game. We wound up finished like ranked 6th or 5th.
2011. Yeah, y'all were 11-2. Yeah.
Yep.
And you went to the Cotton Bowl.
And beat I don't know if we beat the brakes off Kansas State.
Yeah, I think you did.
We beat the brakes off of them, but it wasn't like a crazy score.
Yeah.
But that's all I got, guys. I'm about to go get some coffee and make some breakfast. So
you're good. I was going on tangents. I'm sorry.
I'm about tired of talking about Arkansas and college football in general. I need another 3 or 4 day break before I think about this again.
I got you, buddy.
It is taking years off my life, but we will see you on Thursday. Make sure you like and subscribe. I'm going to try to get some TikToks out this week, maybe about our reactions, maybe about me talking shit about LSU, but we'll see. Y'all have a great week. We will see y'all Thursday.